all of those sparks, Tim. Look at all of those. And now you have to wonder about the CHP officers who are following behind.
Yeah, they're probably dodging pieces and parts coming off of it now. As Skyfox swings around to the right side, you're seeing now that that's just metal being ground on the concrete, being pushed by that truck, and it's just going to work its way up and burn the side of the vehicle, and then start setting off. Now he's going to have to get away from the sound wall here, but it looks like we're off the freeway, maybe here at Haven. And so we'll see what happens once he gets over here. But he's up on the side of the freeway, and now you're going to have to worry about.
And now you think about the trees. Okay, now we've stopped. Yeah. We've stopped, and now those flames could very well light up the hillside. And now you see the suspect making a run for it up the hill, Tim, doing his darndest to get to the top. He's making good ground considering. But you know that those CHP officers, they are there too. And there is a big retaining wall, as we're seeing, certainly a male suspect here. Looks like maybe a red hoodie, a jacket on. Now it's, how are you going to get over? How are you going to scale this wall?
It's going to be tough unless there's an access. They do have accesses along the way. There are little doors that go through to make access for fire department, but you're going to have some very well, he's over the fence and on to
there he is. Yep,
the
still
road
got him.
And running, but you're going to have some very fit CHP officers coming over the freeway wall there and taking off with it. The Ontario, actually the San Bernardino County Sheriffs are overhead now, and they're probably communicating with Ontario PD to where the suspect is going. He's going up to a house.
Going into, is this a single unit home? Yeah, it looks like it is, with a backyard. Yeah. This is Hermosa Avenue, by the way. And so we're seeing, obviously the suspect's trying to figure out, where can I go? Where can I hide? I hope whomever is home, doors are locked. We're getting more of, looks like a young man, hat backward, hooded sweatshirt, gray, red interior here, now walking, trying to maybe play it cool.
There's a CHP officer going to come up on him. You see his flashlight going there, and now he's going to pick up speed. Yeah, and the problem here is now you're going to hear, people are going to hear helicopters, they're going to hear sirens, and the one thing you do not want to do as a citizen is open your front door to see what's going on, because you might have this guy right at your front door just trying to find a place to go. My worry at this point is he's checking doorknobs. My worry now would be, should somebody be coming home now in their car and be pulling into this thing, because this guy will take the car in a heartbeat. But there's a CHP officer right behind him here and now has eyes on him. The problem now is when he gets out of the car, then there may be a communications problem with the portable radio he's carrying, and the Ontario, or the San Bernardino County Sheriffs are overhead. So he's going to get caught.
It looks like the taser. You could see that the CHP officer just released the taser, perhaps.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the yellow taser come out.
Yep, yellow taser came out. Now we're under the eaves here. So this is the Ontario area. You see now another CHP officer, perhaps. They tased him. We're getting word, another officer. Now it looks like they have that suspect on the ground.
Yep.
Obviously, we're not getting a great view of that, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it looks like, officers there. We saw that yellow taser come out, and then moments later, that suspect on the ground. Now Skyfox penning back over, so you get really full perspective here of that big rig completely on fire, that cab. And we had talked about this, having covered a similar pursuit where it ended in this very same fashion. A spike strip had damaged the vehicle's tires so badly that those were gone, and then eventually, given that the suspect was not giving up, riding on rims, the cab caught fire, and this is the result. This is the 210 in the Ontario area, and now thankfully it doesn't look like that hillside has caught fire, so let's hope that that doesn't happen. More CHP units descending on this neighborhood. What a rude awakening for these folks now that it's well past midnight on this now Thursday morning. We are getting word from CHP that that suspect is officially in custody, as now CHP has this scene to deal with. They need firefighters there as soon as possible to be able to get out those flames. You don't want this whole thing. We don't know what's in the container, the shipping container too, that this big rig was carrying. So as we look at this, I want to recap what we've just watched unfold here on Goodnight LA. This is a stolen big rig pursuit that came to an end in Ontario. We understand this started in Bakersfield. We picked it up in Newhall on the 5. It's now come to an end on the 210 freeway. Obviously, this freeway is now shut down because of this activity. The suspect driving this big rig until he could no longer drive anymore, until this thing was up in flames, then made a run for it into the neighborhood up above. And now that suspect has officially been tased and now has been taken into custody. I suppose the best thing that we can say is that no one was hurt, no one was injured in this really wild pursuit involving this big rig. Of course, we feel for the big rig driver who essentially got carjacked at that gas station. If I didn't say that, I don't think I made that clear in my recap. There was a big rig driver who was pumping gas in Bakersfield when that suspect carjacked this big rig. So we feel for that big rig driver who did get carjacked, and of course, you know, this is probably his livelihood. So we feel for him. We're glad though that no one was hurt. We're glad that this has come to an end. I suspect it's just a matter of time until until firefighting crew gets there to put out those flames, but CHP units are on it. We want to thank former police officer Tim Lynn for being with us for about the last hour here on Good Night LA. Could not have done it without you, Tim. I appreciate your expertise and your time. Hope you can now close your eyes and rest easy knowing that the suspect is in custody, Tim. Thanks so much for being with me tonight.
You're welcome. Glad to help out.
Okay, and for you at home watching along on Channel 11, we appreciate you. Obviously, we will continue to follow this, and we will have the very latest in just a few more hours when Good Day LA starts. That's at 4 a.m. in less than 4 hours with Bob DeCastro and Brooke Thomas. And for now, as we send you off to sleep, I hope, here's an image of that big rig cab that is in flames. Let's hope that those flames get put out sooner than later. All right, that does it for me. I'm Marla Tejas. Thanks so much for being with me tonight.
Hours-long police chase of a stolen big rig comes to a fiery end on the 210 freeway. You saw it unfold live right here on KTLA.
Tonight, the owner of that truck is devastated. His livelihood, along with his dreams, up in flames. It began in Bakersfield when the suspect jumped into the empty truck and took off. It ended in Rancho Cucamonga when the big rig exploded in flames after a successful CHP spike strip. The suspect was taken into custody after trying to get away on foot.
The owner of that truck is in disbelief tonight, wondering about his future and how he will provide for his family. Rick Chambers is live in Burbank with his emotional interview. Rick.
Yeah, Cher, it was near the end of just another day on the road for trucker Edwin Guardado. He was getting close to Bakersfield and he figured he'd make a quick restroom stop. And then in a matter of seconds, his life took a terrible turn.
He was on his way back to Bakersfield. Well, actually, he was coming back home.
She's talking about her dad, Edwin, who's sitting next to her. He's the owner of that semi that was hijacked last night in Bakersfield, which eventually burned at the end of an hours-long pursuit by CHP. Ruby Guardado says that her father was heading back from L.A. last night with an empty container on his rig, and when he stopped at a restaurant, two men watched him walk in.
They seen that he had his back away and not looking, so they took advantage and just did it.
One of those men jumped into the truck cab and took off south on the 5 freeway. Chippies, though, spotted the truck in Santa Clarita about 11 o'clock, and the chase was on. From the 5 to the 134 and then on to the 210 East, where the CHP put out a spike strip in Claremont.
And it looks like it's punctured that front driver's side tire.
Within seconds, both front tires fell off the truck, but the suspect drove on the rims at about 50 miles an hour until he started to lose control in Upland.
Look at this. He's going to go all the way across lanes.
A short time later, the sparks started to fly.
That rim finally giving way now. It looks like it's on the axle. And here's the concern for this truck. It may catch fire.
It did just that, actually, in Rancho Cucamonga. as the suspect pulled onto the shoulder at Haven Avenue.
The driver's out. He's going to run up the side of the hill.
25-year-old Roberto Rivera didn't make it very far. After jumping a fence, he ran into a housing complex and was grabbed by police a short time later. Edwin Guardado says that he can't believe his truck is gone. Just a burned-out heap now.
I'm looking for another job, or I like too much stress.
I think he's just in shock and disbelief.
Shocked and emotionally traumatized, enough to adjust his career path.
He still can't believe what happened. Like, he still doesn't even know what he's feeling, because he can't, like, imagine it really happening, even though it did happen. He just has to look for another job by tomorrow and start working again.
That hijacking suspect is being held on a $100,000 bail tonight. We understand he's going to be in court sometime early next week. As for Edwin Guardado, he lost not only his truck, but all of his personal items were inside when it went up in flames. And of course, he's unemployed tonight. He's got a family to support. They've set up a GoFundMe page if you would like to help out.